Hello everybody, my name's Matt Roloffs, and I'm going to be your professor this quarter in economics. I'm coming to you today not from our normal start of the quarter location of our classroom, but rather from my office here at home. As you've learned by now, I need to be out of town tomorrow and won't be able to meet with you on the first day, and I'm very sorry about that. But I think there are some things that we can do together today with technology that will allow us to get to know each other a little bit, learn a little bit more about the course, and then hit the ground running when we get to meet for the first time next Tuesday in person. What I'd like to talk with you a little bit about today is the nature of the course. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I use Canvas, talk you through the syllabus so you can learn about assignments and homeworks and things like that, and also show you how to get signed up for an online homework tool that we're going to be using to do all of our assignments throughout the quarter. So I hope that you're getting settled back in after a fantastic summer, and I look forward to seeing you next week. But for now, let's talk a little bit about the course. All right, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and set my browser to show you through my screenshot a couple different pieces of information for our course. You'll see that I'm already here at our Canvas page, and so you'll automatically, you probably all know this, but you'll automatically be enrolled in our Canvas course. You go to My Western and go find your courses, and you'll see Honors 202 listed there. In fact, if you're here watching this video, that's probably how you found it, I would imagine, so I don't need to say a whole lot about that. I keep my Canvas pages pretty streamlined is sort of my approach, so just some very key pieces of information here, not lots and lots of extra things. So let me kind of walk you through what's here on Canvas, and then we'll switch, take a look at the syllabus, and then talk a little bit about our online homework tool called McGraw-Hill's Connect. So first of all, announcements are here. I think there's two of them, that's right. Oh, yes. So the first one is a welcome announcement, just kind of talking a little bit about the course. You know, honors, this colloquium is pretty interesting. I inherited it from Dr. Dan Hagen maybe 4 or 5 years ago and have taken a little bit of a different tact. I think that there's obviously lots and lots of economic theory and economic results that are worth teaching you, and I'm looking forward to that. But I also think that it's important that we have some time to reflect, to dig a bit deeper into some key issues. And so we'll do that towards the end of the quarter through some outside readings. So what we're going to do, cover core modern economic theory, both microeconomics and macroeconomics, and give us a chance to look at a couple of those key topics. And yeah, there's something really... Right, this is almost cliche. You may not have even heard this before, but for professors of economics, this is almost a cliche thing to say, but it really is true that there's something very unique and different about the economic way of thinking. It doesn't mean it's the best way to think about a problem all the time, but it does give you a unique set of tools and a unique set, kind of a unique perspective on issues that I think you'll find interesting and challenging, regardless of what it is that you're studying. So that's the announcement section. The other announcement in here, we'll come back and look at this a little bit later on, is detailed information about how to get hooked up to how to connect to Connect. So our homework tool is called Connect from our publisher McGraw-Hill, and so we'll figure out how to get connected up to Connect here in a little bit. There's a tab here for assignments. It just lists, oh, there's nothing yet. I have them all hidden right now because I need to change all the dates. But you'll be doing your assignments in Connect, and then I'll be importing those things here and they'll be showing up. There's a discussion thread already started. One of the things that I asked you to do in the email that you saw or the handout that you picked up from Diane in class is a set of little short biographies, a little introduction. So in this thread, you'll see that there's kind of a set of instructions that I posted, and then my bio here, right? I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan many years ago, the day the Apollo 11 astronauts returned from the moon. So you can check that out if you want to settle a bet on how young I am. A little bit about my background in terms of where I went to school and that kind of thing. I did my PhD work, master's and PhD work at Purdue University. I was an undergraduate student at Calvin College in Michigan. And a little bit about my research, a little bit about my family. I could go on and on and on about this. My wife Sherry and I have been married 1993. I don't even have to check inside my wedding ring this time. 1993, 2015, 22 years. And continues to be pretty fantastic. We have two kids, Adam, who is a sixth grader this year, just started middle school at Fairhaven Middle School, and my son Ryan, who is in fourth grade at Happy Valley. So we do lots of fun stuff. We've been getting pretty heavily into mountain biking as a family in the last year or so. So you can kind of get an idea of what you might include. I know yours doesn't have to be quite this long, but you get a sense of what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to have you, since we can't be together on the first day and have sort of an icebreaker kind of back and forth, I'm going to have you do it here. So it looks like Karina showed up already, 12:35 today, and responded to my post, read mine, and said something down here about it. Right? So give me a little bit of advice for when I make my trip, my long sought after trip to Southeast Asia. So that'd be great. Thanks for the tip. And then she also posted her own bio down here, so we can learn a little bit about Karina and where she's from and what she's doing and what she likes to do in her spare time and all of that. Whoever shows up next will reply right here to Karina's post, say something about what she said, and then post your own, make your own post at that point. So, and I think you do that up here if I remember correctly. So you'll be able then we'll develop this nice big long thread where we can read about each other and that kind of thing. If you do this by Sunday night, around midnight or so, I will give you a little bit of extra credit, so that's always a good thing. And then on Monday, I'll have some time to go through and read all of these responses, and we can use that as a way to kind of continue the get to know you process together when we meet face-to-face on Tuesday. Under grades here, not a whole lot. You can see there's some different parts to the course, which I'll describe to you in the syllabus in a little bit. And people is a list of people, not surprisingly, so you can see who's enrolled in the class. You can send them a message if you would like. And then under files, there's not much here yet, just a copy of the syllabus, but as we go through different materials and I want to give you some extra reading, or there's a solution or a study guide for an exam or something, all those things will show up here under files. Let's take a look at the syllabus, talk about some of the nitty-gritty parts of the course. Well, first of all, contact information, my phone number and office. I'm in Parks Hall if you need to come find me. Email's the best way to get a hold of me for sure, and even better than this email is probably to send me a message in Canvas. It's less likely to get buried under other email. They stay threaded really nicely. You can always go back and see those conversations. So I strongly recommend that we use the messaging feature in Canvas. It's pretty handy. Office hours are going to be Tuesday and Thursday afternoon right before class, and then Wednesdays roughly at the same time. Hopefully one of those times works if you need to come see me. If it doesn't, I'm available lots and lots of other times. So I'm around pretty much all day, every day. Meetings occasionally, either research meetings or admin kind of meetings. Every now and then I'm gone, but not too often. Later in the afternoon's a little bit dicier for me with a couple small kids. I'm sometimes playing chauffeur as I run them from one activity to the next. So you'll see how those things work. Course description, as I said before, this is a pretty broad course. We're going to touch on lots and lots of different things that will allow us to learn about economics, both sort of really obvious stuff and then maybe some less obvious stuff down here. I really like these two quotes. Lionel Robbins says, "Economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses." That's nice. That's pretty true. Marshall, though, is much more pithy about it. "Economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life." It's really about decision-making, ultimately. And as you'll see, it may not be as much about dollars and cents and stock markets and things like that as you might have expected. All right, course objectives. These are the things you need to be able to do by the end of the course. You've already received from me an email about the course materials. There's some new stuff here having to do with the reading books, which we'll talk about in a moment. These are the two things you need to do right away, though, is you need to get a copy of our textbook. You may decide just to use the ebook version and also get a subscription, get signed up for Connect, from McGraw-Hill Connect. If you decide, or when you decide to sign up for Connect, hopefully in the next day or two, you automatically get access to the ebook. So You might try that and see if that's going to be good enough for you. And if you decide you want a hard copy later, you could do it that way. I'd say it just kind of depends on your learning style, whether or not reading on a screen is something that works for you or not. But you can certainly buy a new book if you're feeling the need to do so. It's quite expensive. We'll talk about the economics of textbook publishing later in the course, but it's pricey, and I wish I could do something about that. I don't really have much control over that, of course. But there are used copies certainly out there. The 9th edition has been around for a couple of years, and 8th edition would work plenty well in addition to that. So whatever you want to do in terms of the books. You'll also be, later in the quarter, you'll be picking up these reading books down here, one by Dan Ariely, Danny Kahneman, Michael Lewis, and Joe Stiglitz. Don't do that yet. There's a chance that these last two may change to something else. I'm pretty committed to Ariely and Kahneman, but we may revisit this at some point. So don't do that right now. You can always get them on Amazon. You can get used copies, probably even in town for sometimes pennies, but certainly not more than a few dollars. All right, the course schedule. I need to say some things about the course schedule. There's some kind of important stuff here that you should know about. The first is that the course is divided up into 2 parts. In the first 7 weeks or so, we will cover theory. We will move very quickly. You will be doing a lot of reading and a lot of homework in Connect. We will not have an opportunity to go through every single point every single day. We will try and do some work together in class to kind of ease you into the homeworks. I will hit the high points. You will supplement my lectures with your reading in Colander. So in some cases, courses don't, you can either read the book or go to lecture. That won't really work here. There will be things that we'll cover in class and examples that we'll do that won't show up in Colander that will be helpful. And then there will be many things that Colander will discuss that you will do homework questions on and so on that won't be in my lectures. That's just the nature of the beast. Part of the reason for moving so quickly in this section is to free up time at the end for the topics portion of the course. We're going to do 2 topics. Again, the one that I'm very committed to is a topic on a subject called behavioral economics. That's where the Ariely and Kahneman books come into play. And then likely the second one will have something, it will definitely be macro in focus. The reason that I've used Lewis and Stiglitz in the past as the 2 reading books is that they both deal with the financial crisis, with the meltdown, the popping of the real estate bubble, and the subsequent Great Recession in 2008 and 2009. And that's still relatively current. Still, we're feeling repercussions of that. So we will likely spend some time doing that. And whether we use these exact books or not, I'm not entirely sure. So we'll talk more about the topics as we go through the quarter. All right, course requirements. You can see that the homework over the course of the first 7 weeks or so is worth 30% of your grade. After those 7 weeks are over, you will take a theory exam. It's really the only real exam that you'll take all quarter long. That's worth 30% of your grade. When we're doing the reading books, there will be quizzes, kind of reading comprehension quizzes that are worth 5 points apiece. We will have discussion time where you will be writing discussion questions, and I'll be paying attention to your participation in discussion and things like that. That's worth 20%, 5% each for the 4 different discussions that we'll have. And then there will be a topics exam at the end of the quarter that will just cover the reading books. And that will be sort of a synthesis kind of short paper essay that you can write if you would like. It's going to be optional. But what it would do if you do decide to pursue it is it would replace your scores on the reading quizzes. So that's the arrangement that we're going to use in terms, and you can read some more detail here about each of these different items. The course policies here are just things that have happened to me over the years that have caused me trouble. So then I have to write a policy about, for example, you can't program your calculator to store all your notes. That's a good example. I think I have the bathroom one on here, do I, somewhere? You can't take your notes into the bathroom during an exam, stuff like that. And then I always close my syllabi with this thing that I call a final word, which just reminds you, not surprisingly, that you need to be doing work outside of class. And the thing that I would say about studying economics, as opposed to, say, maybe studying history or something like that, it's much more like mathematics in that it builds one topic to the next to the next. So you need to be doing your work every day, and Connect will really keep you on task. Having homework due every day will help with that. but make sure you're doing a little bit of work every day and not saving a whole bunch for the end. That doesn't usually turn out all that well. So let's close the syllabus. Show you quickly how to get to Connect. So let me take you back to the announcement section. And this how to Connect link. We'll talk a little bit about it. You just follow this link. If you bought a book, a new book from the bookstore, you'll have a card and you can enter your code when you get to that link and it will take you into Canvas. If you didn't, when you follow this link, you'll have an opportunity to pay for your Canvas subscription. And that subscription runs $130 for the quarter. It lasts much longer than that. I talked to the publisher about trying to get it cheaper and shorter, and they weren't really receptive. Again, we can talk about their pricing strategies later. They're pretty good at what they do in terms of earning profits. But it does, like I said, give you access to the ebook as well. So you can use that ebook for 130 bucks. You can be completely equipped for the course, well, plus the reading books towards the end, but completely equipped for the first part of the course. Or you can do the 130 for Connect plus a small amount for a used textbook if you prefer to go that route to try and keep the cost down. The homeworks that you'll be doing, I'm only showing you the first few here because I'm still busy changing dates and moving things around a little bit, but they kind of come in two flavors. There are homeworks, Chapter 1 homework, Chapter 4 homework, Chapter 5 homework, and there are quizzes. You'll notice the quizzes have these little alarm clocks next to them that indicate that the quizzes are timed. The homeworks themselves, though, are not timed. You can do them anytime during the week. That's usually open for a week or so. This one becomes available on when we would have met for the first time, tomorrow at 2 p.m. And it's due next week, Thursday, October 1st at 2 p.m. You can try the homework up to 3 times. You do have to go back and do the whole thing over again, but you can try the homework up to 3 times. So as long as you put in the time and effort, you're probably going to do pretty well, get nearly 100% on those. The homeworks are each, why won't link? Doesn't seem to want to do anything. What's that say? I think it's because I'm viewing it as a student right now, so I can't actually see them. But I can tell you about them. The homeworks are 21 questions per chapter. So 20, and I think they're set up to be 7 easy ones, 7 moderate ones, and 7 harder ones. So 21 questions. 21 questions for Chapter 4, 21 questions for Chapter 5. And then the quizzes are timed. They contain 10 questions per chapter. So like this first quiz, quiz number 1, it just covers 1 chapter, so it's only 10 questions. Quiz 2 covers 2 chapters, it's 20 questions, and there are a few of them throughout the quarter that cover 3 chapters. Those are 30 questions long. They're timed. You get 30 minutes for every 10 questions. So this one would be 30 minutes long, this would be 60 minutes long, and a 3-chapter quiz would be 90 minutes long. The key thing to realize is once you start a quiz, you cannot stop the clock. So you say, I'm ready, go, show me the questions, and you start working through those questions. You can't say, stop, I need to go to class, or stop, I need to watch my favorite show on TV, or whatever. So make sure you've devoted the appropriate amount of time to doing the quiz, and you only get to do the quiz once. So I think that's about it. I'm going to circle us back here to our Canvas page. Again, I apologize for not being able to be with you on the first day. Hopefully this video and the other activities will serve as a decent stand-in, and I look forward to meeting you face-to-face next week, Tuesday, for the first time. Take care, and we'll see you then.